everyone, I am Samsa Ianan and we are the group 10. So now, let's tackle about the sex and senses. Learning objective. First is discuss the human senses in the context of sexual response. And number 2 is show appreciation of how the sensorium contributes to our experience of human sexuality. So we have here the five senses, which is the sense of sight, sense of smell, sound, touch, and taste. Sight. Our eyes enable our senses of sight so that we are able to see visual stimuli like color, size, shape in the environment. And also, sight detects lights and color, allowing us to see visual image. So for example, doing eye to eye to a person or reading books. Second is smell or olfaction. So our nose enables sense of smell so that we are able to experience scent. And also, it detects the chemical substances in the air allowing us to perceive odor. The third one is hearing or audition. So our ears allows us a sense of hearing so that we are able to experience sounds of varying tones, pitches, and volumes. Detect sounds wave and allowing us to perceive sounds. For example, whispering or listening to music. The fourth one is taste or gustation. So our tongue is covered with taste bud that allows us a sense of taste so that we are able to experience the taste of our foods, object we put in our mouth. So taste detects chemical substances in foods and drinks, allowing us to perceive flavor like sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. And the last one is touch or feeling. So our sense of touch helps us feel different texture and temperature. We have sensory reception in our skin, muscle, and joints, which allows us to sense of touch or feelings so that we are able to have tactile experience. And also, the touch are the body largest sensory organ. It detects pressure, temperature, pain, and other tactile sensation. Now, let's go to the definition of term. So the first one is sensorium. The totality of our senses and perception conglomerates of the individual sense organs. So, the sensorium, this is the part of our brain or mind responsible for receiving, processing, and interpreting all the sensory information or the five senses and the other internal senses. So, that comes from the external world. So the second one is olfaction. So this is the other term of the sense of smell. So which is it is the technical term of the sense of smell. Tactiles, something associated with touch. So these are the other term of sense of touch. The fourth one is pheromones, a substance believed to release by organism and which is thought to be influence social behavior. Pheromones, a chemical substance that is thought to be released by organisms, like animals and possibly humans. And it is believed to influence the social behaviors of other individuals of the same species. The last one is major histocompatibility complex, a set of protein molecules associated with the immune system. So, major histocompatibility complex or MHC, it is the core of the immune system ability to distinguish between self or the body own cells and the non-self or the foreign or yung invaders like mga viruses or bacteria.
Claudine Ortega, and I will going to continue the discussion of Miss Anan.
Sensorium, we receive information from our environment through the senses. Our brain has the ability to organize and interpret these numerous stimuli into meaningful ideas that are useful for our choices or behavior. By using the five senses, we can communicate to others and interpret what are those meaning. Example, the senses of touching, smelling, hearing, tasting, seeing, or visual. Like for example, the classroom settings. We use our visual and hearing to get a new information from our classmates or teachers. Next is the human affect and the senses. First is the hypothalamic nuclei. The hypothalamic nuclei is the area of the brain that control body temperature, hunger, and thirst. Next is amygdala. The amygdala has a five function: the process of memory, decision making, emotional responses like fear, anxiety, and aggression. And the third one is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is a part of the brain that responsible for memory learning. This small structure helps to remember both short-term memory and long-term memory. And the fourth one is cingulate gyrus. Act as a bridge between emotional and cognitive processing, helping to regulate emotion and behavior and decision making. And the last is the corpus callosum. Function, it is the integrate and transfer information from both cerebral hemisphere to process sensory, motor, and high-level cognitive signal. Like for example, the riding a bike. Both sides of the brain control physical action on one side of the body, and the corpus callosum communicate information between two sides to smoothly coordinate complex movement. Oh, the last part is the thalamus is a brain central information relay station that receive all incoming sensory, the sensory of sight, touch, and taste, and so many more. These are the human limbic system. Next is the affective primary hypothesis by Zahoc 1980. By Robert Zahoc 1980, an American social psychologist, postulate that in many cases cognitive processing, higher order thinking plays a lesser role compared to our emotional responses in eliciting behavior. He said much lesser though the role of cognitive compared to our emotional responses. By virtue of this hypothesis, by default, our emotions they take precedence primarily because these are only processed and modulated by the limbic system. Because the emotion that the only process and modulate in the limbic system, in the human limbic system. Next, we're going to tackle about the primary emotional responses. First is the fight. We encounter these responses if the situation or the problem is aggressive. Next is the flight. The flight responses when we are avoiding to a particular problem. And the freeze is in these responses, you don't have any movement or action. Like for example, the senses of smell rather than touch.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashley Villarema and I am the last reporter. Senses and sexuality. Having provided an overview on how human affect, the sensorium and the brain's limbic system coordinates. Influence, attraction, and overall sexual experience including the sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. Sight involves attraction, sound communication, and pleasure through verbal noises. The touch, physical pleasure and connection. The smell, attraction through senses. And taste can enhance intimacy through kissing. Visual experiences. Humans are predominantly visual. Our societies high rely on visual culture to co-create meaning and convey information. Visual culture is an essential element of our society. Visual memory is deemed superior to other forms by Cohen et al. 2008. So, context of human sexuality. So, women have found to be more influenced by context, although they too are responsive to the sexual content of visual stimuli. So, women and men differ in strategies of viewing sexual stimuli. So, meaning that the other person has a other response or cause response to that other person. So, visual experience or sight or the predominantly visual, it means that sometimes mostly related to sight. So it is how our senses of sight contribute to sexual attraction, sexual encounters through seeing them. When we say cues, it is the signal or someone to do or say something. And we say also stimuli or stimuli, any object or events that causes response from a living organism. So next is the olfactory smell or experience. So it is to any odor or body odor influence sexual desire and pleasure. Who have the strongest smell is the pleasant in sexual activities, especially women. Next is the tactile or touch experience. So it is a physical intimacy that use touch and pleasure and determined as a love language. So mostly the example is physical touch. And lastly, the auditory experience. So it is a sound of pleasure can be stimulating intimacy and connection during sexual activity. So the senses are the windows to our consciousness. We are aware, we learn, and we experience because we can receive information from the environment through our senses organs. So the brain is a powerful organ that consolidates and processes these stimuli into meaningful units and wholes. So that's all. Thank you.